Say a few words in regard to my elevation to the exalted position of Leader of the Opposition this morning, as per the announcement made by you. I am greatly humbled by this honor that has been conferred on me, and I, on behalf of my party, accept the position with a sense of humility. I must congratulate you on upholding the conventions at this House in recognizing the party with the largest number of seats, which has not formed any alliance with the government as the party entitled to hold the position of the Leader of the Opposition. I wish to thank the voters of the northern and eastern provinces, particularly the voters of Trincomalee, for the confidence they have reposed in my party and in me. I also wish to thank my colleagues for continuously electing me as their parliamentary group leader. We will oppose the government on all issues where it is in the national interest to do so. We will support the government on all issues where such support is justified. We will extend our fullest support to all parties and members in the opposition, and we will work closely with them to ensure that we are an effective and efficient opposition. This is an assurance I want to give all the political parties and members in the opposition, that we will not hesitate to work with you unitedly to serve the cause of the opposition and to be an effective and efficient opposition against the government whenever that is required. There are issues that need to be resolved in the national interest. Amongst them are the long-festering Tamil question. We would like to work closely with everyone to resolve this question. While we shall be loyal to this country and to the people of this country, I must emphasize that it is also our primary duty to ensure that there is an acceptable resolution of the Tamil question. I might now, sir, make a few comments on the bill that we are presently discussing in this House. A national government in the present context in the country may be a national need. The two main parties working together could be in the national interest. This is the first time in the country's history that the two main parties have decided to come together and constitute a government. This is also in consonance with the two democratic verdicts delivered by the country recently, and also in keeping with the 19th Constitutional Amendment. It is in keeping with the amendment that the resolution is brought to this House today. What is happening may be necessary, it may be good for this country, and we wish the process all success. But the increase in the number of ministries to achieve this does not seem to be in conformity with good governance. It would have been much better if the two parties were able to come together without an increase in the number of ministries. But unfortunately, we have a culture in this country which has become deeply entrenched in recent times, which has resulted in the number of ministries being enhanced through various devious processes, including, if I might say so with respect, the use of various considerations in order to buy over members of parliament. I think we should put an end to this culture. We mustn't forget that in our neighboring country, India, which is a large country, there are only 65 ministers, 27 cabinet ministers, including the Prime Minister, 13 ministers of state with independent charge, and 25 ministers of state. There are no deputy ministers there. A country of 1.2 billion people, we are just 20 million people, has only 65 ministers. This is something that we must bear in mind. And the desire for ministerial positions, which is against the national interest to an extent that is not consistent with the need of the country is a culture that we must get over. That would be my submission. But I do realize that in the present context, a national government, under any circumstances, may be a dire necessity and may be something which this country needs. We must also remember that this culture must be ended. This culture of everybody wanting to become a minister somehow must be ended. And we must turn a new leaf. That will be in the interest of this country. So taking a good example from our giant neighbor, where despite all the diversity that exists in that country, they are able to stay together on account of their structures of governance. In fact, I was thinking to myself this morning, rather than having so many ministers in the center, why can't we have 3 to 5 regions in this country, vested with substantial powers of governance? There are many young members of parliament who can be excellent ministers and chief ministers in those regions, 3 to 5 regions. Give them maximum power and allow them to rule various parts of this country in such a way that the people's interest is best served. After all, India has today 29 states. The country is united. The country stays together. The country stays together because people's aspirations are respected, honored, and implemented by the states which have been constituted in such a way as to preserve linguistic interests, cultural interests, religious interests, and so on. This is what we need. So, Mr. Speaker, while we realize the importance of the bill in the present context in our country, I think we need to get away from this culture of having excessive number of ministers in our cabinets. That's not very good, and the people of this country would not respect that for too long.